Hello, everyone. Today, I will introduce TimePool, a new visualization prototype for univariate time series analysis. We will be using a sample dataset showing changes in life expectancy in 200 countries worldwide between 1900 and 2012. When it comes to life expectancy, a common question is which countries or regions have longer life expectancies. This question is easily answered by visiting the World Health Organization's website, where you can find the current top 10 countries with the highest life expectancies. However, when we look back over 100 years, the question of which countries had longer life expectancies becomes more complex. First, a total of 28 countries had made it into the top 10 at some point. Second, when we introduce the time dimension, the questions analysts want to explore become more intricate. For example, who remained in the top 10 for the longest period? Who is the newest member of the top 10? Have the countries in the top 10 today remained the same as 20 years ago? When we try to visualize this data in a line graph, the line graph becomes quite cluttered, and it is challenging to answer these questions effectively. In this paper, we present TimePool to answer 3 types of which and when questions. 1. Extreme events, which countries stood out at different times in this dataset. For example, which country recently entered the top 10, and when did this happen? 2. Conditional search, which countries meet a given criteria, and when. For example, which country's life expectancy kept decreasing for a decade. 3. Comparative analysis, assuming there's a focal data case, which countries consistently outperformed it, and when. For instance, which country exceeded the United States in life expectancy most recently? There are many existing visualization techniques to help users query, search, and explore time series and line charts. Techniques such as two-tone pseudo-coloring reduce clutter using juxtaposed displays. We have drawn inspiration from these methods in our work. Additionally, dynamic sorting, as seen in lineup, has also influenced the development of TimePool. Now, let me explain our approach. In all 3 categories of tasks, we can often use a threshold line to separate good from bad. The left image shows the separation between countries in the top 10 and the rest. We've colored the lines above the separation in green and below in red. When we focus on which and when, we don't actually care about the numerical values themselves. Therefore, we can flatten the lines preserving the colors, resulting in a juxtaposed timeline view on the right. The rows represent which, and the x-axis represents when, making it easy to identify which country each line represents and when it transitioned between good and bad status. The right image shows all 28 countries that have ever been in the top 10 in life expectancy, aka has 1 or more green parts in its row. At the top of the image, you can see that Sweden has never dropped out of the top 10 in the dataset, while other top countries had some periods of time when they were not in the top 10. At the bottom of the image, you can see that Latvia, Seychelles, and Malta were among the countries with the highest life expectancies for a very short amount of time. From the right side of the image, you can see that the most recent addition to the top 10 was Israel, but it previously dropped out of the top ranks. Therefore, the true newest member was Singapore, joining around 2005. Users can interactively drag the threshold line to change the query threshold. In the interface of TimePool, the top left is a line chart. The bottom left is a detail view with juxtaposed timelines. The timelines share the time axis with the line chart. The bottom right is an overview showing all 200 countries in juxtaposed timelines. Users can move a slider to examine different parts of the overview in the detail view. This example answers the question which countries had life expectancies shorter than 50 years, and when. Using a query with the condition life expectancy is below 50 years. In the timelines, red indicates the years when the life expectancy of a country was below 50 years. We used group and sorting interactions to sort the timelines by region first and then by total length of read in ascending order. In the overview on the right, you can see that most countries are split into a red part on the left and a green part on the right, indicating that while almost all countries had life expectancies below 50 years 100 years ago, most of them have exceeded the bar and maintained the status. Each region has a few countries with an exceptionally long red section, indicating they reached a life expectancy of 50 years much later than other countries in the same region. A few countries have green segments interleaved with red segments in sub-Saharan Africa. We examined them in the detail view. We highlighted Zimbabwe and Botswana by clicking their timelines since they have such a pattern. They are highlighted in the line chart as well for further examination. The queries can be conducted not only on the original values but also on derived values. In this example, the red segments indicate years when life expectancy decreased by more than 1 year compared to the previous year. In the line chart, you can see some long red segments around the 1990s. To examine them, we used a time window to sort the countries by length of red segments between 1990 and 2000. The detail view shows the names of the relevant countries. We selected one of them to examine its details in the line chart. This example shows a query for comparison. It results in 3 ranges. The green lines show the years when a country has a life expectancy 10 years longer than the world average. The red lines show the years when it was 10 years shorter than average. The years in between were displayed in another color, but we interactively hid them from the display to reduce color clutter. You can see from the overview that some regions had much higher life expectancies than other regions in general. You can also see some countries with interleaved green and red segments. We bring some of them to the detail view. You can see from the detail view that countries such as Poland experienced a significant decrease in life expectancy during the Second World War. We conducted a user study where 12 subjects answered which and when questions using both TimePool and a line chart-only system. The results showed that the tasks were addressed faster and more accurately with TimePool. We also interviewed 18 domain experts with live demos, discussions, and questionnaires. The domain experts highly evaluated TimePool in usefulness, intuitiveness, and ease of learning. Please check the supplementary videos for more examples.